I haven't left my workstation since 9:30 a.m. I haven't been awake since 9:30 a.m. What's going on though, Vowing Skyward? How we doing today? Fair enough. If you've been at your desk all day, I understand. Storm, what's going on? And like how we always do with the story game we're playing on stream, we're gonna let everybody get in here. Before we continue. Phase 5 is structured weird, so you can keep playing a bit after the court time? Okay. Your streams have got me through 12-hour workday. I'm very happy to hear that. I'm happy to help. I'm glad this serves as something other than just me shitposting. How you liking Arise? I really enjoyed it, or am really enjoying it. If you must know, I was playing a little bit past where I stopped on stream yesterday, and by a little bit past, I mean I completed the area that I was in. I defeated the Lord, but I played all the way up into the new region. And I ended up going back before I ended up clearing it. I went and at level 14 with the party that I had of Rinwell, Shion, and Alphen. I ended up fighting the level 43 Mantis, and after a total of like 2 hours of trying to figure out a way to do it, I ended up getting a solid strat down, which was stand back at one side of the room, swap over to Shion and Rinwell, and then move them to the other side of the arena and have them attack from there, and basically swap back to Alphen and then just pivot dodge in and out of its little scythe swipes, because if it goes for the scythe swipe, I can understand and dodge out appropriately. I got really good at dodging last night, but I would dodge out of the way of the scythe strikes, and as it would do the little like slam down ground wave attack, I would just walk to the side. I never broke that thing's weak point, by the way. But I did end up like getting it down to that science. The only thing, and this is why I had to move them to the other side of the arena, is when it would do the charge attack, you can dodge into certain things twice and still have those iframes and not get hit. So I would dodge the first time and dodge the second time. However, depending on the way I dodged, the Mantis would turn and swerve and kind of like run the other way. And when it turned and it swerved, I had to make sure that neither Rinwell nor Shion were in the way, because if they were, they would get hit. So it was very, very, very rough. But after about an hour and a half of a long continued fight, I managed to bring it down to about, or after about like 45 minutes, I managed to bring it down to about half health, at which it popped out with what's the word? With a couple ads, right? I also found out that when you get monsters to a specific health threshold, and you're supposed to do that dual boost strike shit, where it's like, yeah man, here's your cinematic shit. If a party member is down and you use them in a combination boost strike, they res with a little bit of health, which was super cool. And then when I did it with Rinwell, she came out, her and Alphen did their like combo attack, and then the Mantis fucking murdered her again. So that was cool. But we did get that to happen, and when the Mantis gets to what was it, around 50% health, and you get that boost strike off, it gets an empowered state where it gets new attacks, and in addition to that, it summons 3 bees as an ad. So it was super rough, but I did manage to take out the Mantis. I put the aftermath of that clip on Twitter, right? The last little bit of the fight. So that was super fun, and I ended up playing up to the point, like I said, where you get to the new region. Law is in the party now. There was a lot of story stuff that happened. A lot of predictable story stuff, I will say. Involving Zephyr, involving the leader of the resistance, you know, the guy with the creepy smile. Yeah, some predictable stuff involving him. And I did a little bit of grinding and playing through, and I think now I'm like level like 23, 24 in the new area, which I think I'm a little bit over leveled, because the Mantis gave me approximately like 1.5 levels. So I think I'm a little bit over leveled, and I've been like grinding out to get the skill points needed to raise everybody's like skill trees up. I think I filled out everybody's skill tree except for like a couple pips in Alphen and a couple pips in Xion. No, I think Rinwell has a couple that I didn't get too. So I am missing a couple. So anyways, that's Tales of Arise. I don't know if I'm going to be playing that later tonight, but I think I've dallied long enough shit posting and talking about Tales of Arise. I know what you guys are here for. I know what you guys are looking at. Also, what's going on, Multi Ayame, Jay Xander? How you guys doing? But, Jose, what's going on? We're going to be starting up Case 5, Case Finale today. The final case, or the final chapter, I guess, because this is a continuation of the case of the murder of Tobias Gregson. Last time we were here, we were standing defense after begrudgingly a little bit of conversation with Baroque Van Zeeks. And as we were pressing and going through and kind of talking, we found out that Mr. Daily Vigil, posing as Mr. Gossip, the street peddler, was helping Gregson investigate. And as he was helping Gregson investigate, there was a little bit of like anger and confusion coming out from everybody in the courtroom. Like, okay, so he was working on something that was super top secret, didn't want anybody to know, and he wanted an alibi. I wonder. But we found that out, and going through, we learned that the time of death recorded in the autopsy report written by a Miss Maria Gori was not actually written down at all. It was not listed. We didn't know when Gregson died, so we posited the idea of, hey, what if he died the day before the murder is actually said to have taken place? And with that, our line of questioning and research led us to the coroner's office again to talk to Miss Maria Gori, who we found out was is the daughter of Dr. Courtney Scythe, the previous coroner. We met her during the Great Exhibition case, the murder of Odie Asman, and now she's back, and she told us that the time of death was indeterminate because the body seemed to have been chilled for a certain amount of time to throw off rigor mortis and the actual time of death. It was a very, very weird revelation, because as far as we know, you would need a big ass refrigerator or freezer in order to keep that shit cold, right? But it was weird because his coat, which had his trademark fish and chips, were not frozen, or was not frozen rather, and as it wasn't frozen, the fish and chips seemed to rot. So he's been dead for at least a couple days, or at least a day. We don't know how much longer than that he's been dead, but he was stored in a freezer somewhere. But the coroner was also very kind and let us look through her case notes about the last victim of the professor killings, Clint Van Zeeks. However, upon us looking, we could not find the case notes. For some reason, they were entirely missing from Maria Gorey and Dr. Scythe's, like, Rolodex, if we want to call it that, but records, right? So we found out that both Sholmes and Iris Wilson had been to that office 2 years ago, and after that time, the case note or the case file for Clint Van Zeek's murder went missing. Upon which we track down Iris in Sholmes' suite. We start talking with her and Sholmes, and find out that she took them because they had the handwriting of her father on them. And obviously, a girl missing her dad, very, very afraid, very curious, very alone. She wanted to know more about him, and ended up taking it to confirm that her dad and Sholmes' partner were one and the same. However, unbeknownst to her, that was not actually John H. Wilson. John H. Wilson was part of the team that ended up writing that autopsy notice, and he signed it, but he didn't write it. The actual author, the man that wrote the autopsy report and the case file for Clint Van Zeeks, was actually Mr. Eugene Mikotoba. So it turns out that Iris's last name actually shouldn't be Wilson at all. We should know her as Iris Mikotoba, I guess. But that was where we ended off. Before that, we went to the crime scene, and we were investigating a little bit. We ran into Miss Lestrade, who had the trunk of... Excuse me. She had Gregson's trunk, right? Which, upon investigation, had a blood stain on the side. It had a what looked to be a piece of metal, assumably the tip of a blade, embedded into the side of it there. So we do have a little bit of more mystery to go through before we find out exactly what Gregson was up to and exactly what led to his death. Current possible prediction is that he was killed by what's his name? For one reason or another, he was killed by Jigoku, Judge Jigoku, the Japanese judge who was a visiting student here 16 years ago, and evidence for that being so is the fact that they mentioned that Jigoku's bag didn't have to get searched when he came over to England for this forensic science symposium. So that would tie in with the murder weapon being a revolver that was issued to members of the judiciary before more than 5 years ago. So that would line up with that. We don't know why he would have the gun, but it would line up with that, and how nobody else would know that he had a gun because he didn't have to get his bag searched. In addition to that, the picture of us, Susato, her father, and Jigoku standing inside the Great Waterloo Hotel, that was added to the court record, and in it, in front of Jigoku, you can see a trunk, right? A big little suitcase, traveling trunk, you know, whatever you want to call it. And as we know, the witnesses who saw Gregson, quote unquote, head into the Fresno Street apartment had a trunk with him. And that's how, at least I assume, the body got there. So, I think that about wraps up everything that we covered in the last part of Chapter 4. So, let's get it started. The final chapter, the resolve of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Do we get an animatic for this? It wouldn't make much sense. Yeah, there we go. Okay. See, I was a little bit confused. When we stopped off last time, we kind of had a... what's the word? It was before the conclude... Oh, we're starting off strong with the music, huh? This is a remix? Okay, yeah, it is a remix of the defendant's lobby. I like this. But we ended Chapter 4 before a conclusion to a case. Ooh. Which kind of gives me some memories of Dual Destinies, right? Chapter 4 into Chapter 5 there. 3rd of November, 9:14 a.m., the Old Bailey Defendant's Antechamber. I really like this. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support today more than ever, Mr. Sato. Mr. Sato? Ah. But why? Oh no. What's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying that I'll be relying on your support today, but, I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet then? Oh dear, I'm really very sorry. See, like, I understand, like, narratively she's flipping us to the ground, right? But even still, to this time, right? It's been a minute since we've been Susato takedowned as well. But how the camera, like, exists and how, like, we essentially just get an inverted view of what we would be seeing standing up, it just looks like she just, like, flipped us to the ceiling, right? Love that shit. Susato isn't her usual self today at all. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. Not to mention... Good morning, sir. Lord Van Zeeks! Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. It's just, I hope we can clear things up today. Really can't make this man out. His face says I hate you, but his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this all began yesterday. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper? I suppose, in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend that led to all this. But you are not to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks. It's only because serious crime in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I'm not sure that was the sole reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really the ghost of my late brother. And having been slain by that evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod, to wield the deadly blade of justice where I, by dint of the law, could not. We've heard that story too. I lost him. Also interesting to note is that Van Zieks does not have his saber on him. So that tip of the blade that was embedded into Gregson's trunk could either be that sword, or either Karma, or Kazuma's other sword, right? His other saber, right? So it's one of those three, unless it's like a dagger that we haven't seen, right, somewhere, but it would make more sense to be one of those three swords. Felt as though I lost my guiding light. I didn't know where to go or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wonder if perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. What's going on, Exalted SM? How you doing? Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you. Lord Clint Van Zieks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life. And I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. Never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes. That burning desire to cut through all the lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Hey, Iris. When did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Aw. It's surely the first and last time I'll ever see a sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of subdued, I suppose. I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Seiss' lab. Alright then, good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings. Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But I've got lots to get ready. Get ready for what? Oh yeah. Did you take this? Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack? Yeah, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley that I made one. Hurley? It looks more like a Harley to me. Get it? Rabbits fucking kill me already. If for some reason you completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can. What? Pull his ears? That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it. Oh well. You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom, and it seemed very different to normal. Yeah, there's no jury. Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean? Cosmo in there going nuts? What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night and he hadn't come home by the time I left this morning. Oh, so him and Mikotoba are doing cool guy shit? Let's fucking go. Are they gonna bust into the fucking courtroom like Franziska does in 2-4? That would be great. Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikotoba out all night too, do you think, Mr. Sato? Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all. They? Father and Judge Jigoku, I mean. Ooh, where is Jigoku then? We didn't see him at all yesterday. He was out, and Mikotoba knew he was out, but if he didn't come back at all, I'm a little bit concerned. Judge Jigoku too? That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Please make your way inside the courtroom at once. Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie. Yeah, thanks, Iris. And you, Mr. Reaper, I hope it goes well. Once again, I thank you for the delicious tea. It was very soothing. Oh, I'm so glad. Must go inside now, Lord Van Zeeks. Ryunosuke got jokes as usual. He's a crazy guy. Lord Van Zeeks has always been the formidable prosecutor I had to lock horns with in court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny had in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day, to this one trial, to this one final reckoning. November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Where's the judge? It feels even more oppressive here than it did yesterday. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today. Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, look. Well, this is unexpected. Please tell me you're just sitting there for fun right now. Lord Strongheart. Kazuma must have known beforehand. The ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundations of our country's legal system. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of his execution, the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting the influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. By royal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial, and one over which I, Lale Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. He's standing up. Well, the 6 jury flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary, assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zeeks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother Clint, in fact. Not the unicorn gavel. Much like his new cane, his hair is inspired by a unicorn horn, easier to see in the side angles. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it enough of him, like, looking at his pocket watch that I get it, you know? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session for the trial of Baroque Van Zieks, who officially stands accused of murder. Okay. New song 2. The Great Secret Trial Court begins. Ooh. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Daily Vigil would be given the inspector's identification and present himself around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when in fact he wasn't. I teased the idea of a final case having alternate music back during Dual Destinies, which to me is a bit of a drop ball with Phoenix and Edgeworth facing off in the destroyed courtroom. Yeah! Like, it's a drop ball in Dual Destinies. It's a massive drop ball in Spirit of Justice. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. It would appear he buried his memories of the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted to the convicts' escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinner's. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed one day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. One thing SOJ has over even these games is different lobby music depending on location. That's valid, right? Like the US and Korean courts, right? Or excuse me, the Japanifornia and Korean courts, like they have different music. They have the different mechanic with Rafa existing in Korean, right? Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Osogi. Met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Gregson was killed on the 31st October, the day before his body was discovered. I have here an updated autopsy. Oh, I wanted to present it! You motherfucker! Come on, man! God damn it. It was my turn. It should have been me, not him. Greedy son of a bitch. Gotta steal the spotlight and produce the fucking updated autopsy report for the court. You motherfucker. I had that. I was ready to do it. Ozma knows you well enough, dog. I got so excited. I was like, oh yeah, we're getting an updated autopsy report. It's ours. We get to present it. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday that the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st of November. There are indications of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have slowed by keeping it chilled. It's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. There's evidence to support the idea. We must investigate it thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. Even right out of the gate, right? Strongheart is, like, much more apprehensive than the normal judge that we've had in Britain to this point. He's and even Jigoku in the chapter 1s of this game and the previous game, right? He's more saying, like, yeah, no, I'm not. He's disagreeing with the prosecution. He's disagreeing with ideas before somebody says, hey, that doesn't make sense, right? Because usually how it works is we say something, the prosecution goes, no, this is why that could be wrong, and the judge go, yeah, they bring up a good point. But now, Strongheart's just like saying, hey, no. Even though you're both saying the same thing, fuck that. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes. Especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put forth an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. Lestrade? Yeah. State your name and occupation for the court. Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Representative of Scotland Yard. A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina? Again? What's your problem, Otto? What's with that Gina again? Look, eh? Aye. The boss meant the word to me. He done more for me than anyone else ever did. Oh? Inspector Gregson, you mean? Got me out of the back slums at East End and took me under his wing. Told me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here and speaking for him. Oh, Gina. Right, all out of the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not at all that he had his arm twisted by Mr. Sholmes. No. What's relevant to these proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigation yesterday has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face. What Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report. Coming right up, sir. Well, the victim's movements. All Yard detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealings that day. So he would have been down by the shipyard, right? Smuggled goods. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Alright, so yeah, we ask what those smuggled goods dealings were. Smuggled goods? I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book. Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines. Goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets? It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activities. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of his investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. Also, is it that both I just realized now that with investigations and this game now, both of these games now have a plot point centralized around black markets. I was thinking about it last night. I was thinking about Investigations 2 last night, and I was like, man, you know who wouldn't have gotten caught up in all this? Gumshoe. He's too dumb. He knows what to do. Gumshoe wouldn't have gotten smoked. And he didn't get smoked. He got, like, beat up and shot once. No, he crashed his car once, right? But Gumshoe wouldn't have gotten killed. Because he he doesn't know better, which is the reason why he knows better. And then I started thinking about, like, oh, you know, well, there was that thing with the courtroom and Tyrell Bad, you know, and it was like he almost got fucked up, right? But yeah, no. We need Detective Dick Gumshoe in this universe. That much is clear to me by now, right? And do we know where the dealings were taking place at this time? In a particular room of certain exclusive London gentlemen's club. We're going to the strip club? Let's go! And on the day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Baroque Van Zeeks, was present. That would be very significant testimony, then.
Oh my, but... Lord Van Zeeks has made no mention of this, at all.
That's a quote, he doesn't know better, and that's why he knows better? Exactly. In short, Lord Van Zeeks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. I don't like the noise. I'm gonna be honest. Can you get a regular gavel? It's very unsettling. Very well, then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination. The victim's movements. I'm getting here late, and what the hell, Strongheart is the judge? Don't worry, I was just as surprised as you. The boss is looking into some smuggled good dealings that day. Alright.
Hold it!
Do you have any idea where those dealings are taking place?
Yup. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember.
As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yeah, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. But what if it was?
What?
It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name in these proceedings.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I've got to do is read it out. And I could too. I've got this reading game buttoned up now. I'll show you what I can do. Go on, what's the harm?
Judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? Well, fucking... This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of the information being leaked. Unless one of you in here is a rat fucking bastard, but I hope not. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. You got fucking debated, you idiot. Haha, he's on my side, not yours. Fuck you. Kazuma? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into these black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. I don't know why I said trial. If the defense requires to know the club's name, The prosecution has no intention of being obstructive.
Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Apparently the smuggled good deal's gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse.
Does that name sound familiar? Do I have fucking anything for this? Was it the name of the steamship ticket? SS. Yes. Okay. So, is it a fucking ship or is it a gentleman's club? I was trying to, because I was like, maybe it's the name of the boat, or the name of the dockyard, right? But didn't I read this before? Why can I not skip through it? Yeah, we read this before. Yeah, I read this before. Basically, so far we know that Gregson was investigating black markets. He left a notebook behind with information in regarding what he was investigating. Well, it was more of like a list of I'm going to this place. It like kept track of all of his meetings, right? Dismissal notice. 5 fucking pages? Oh no, wait. This dog, I got confused. I was like, how many pages of evidence do I have without seeing this over here? My goodness. Can I examine this? It's a warrant card, right? But we know this is Gregson's, right? We've already looked at this before. Yeah, ID 997. Yeah, this is his ACD 055 or 0522. Excuse me. Yeah, no, I think it has to be the letter of introduction.
Objection.
I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called The Grouse? Police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson's secretly going to visit on October 31st may or may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You're fucking dumb. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it, here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. I'm the back, the other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. At least he's as dumb as other judges. We got that out of the way, right? This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection.
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there.
How?
Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on the 1st of November. Ah. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st of October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission, that ship hadn't yet docked on British shores.
But he went to Paris. You know?
That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection.
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question.
Then show your evidence for that assertion.
Very well. It just doesn't... It sounds wrong. Like, use the other side of the cane or something.
In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st of October.
I'm glad you fucking asked.
Hey, hey.
Take that!
Tierra Star with the raiding party. What's going on, friends? How you guys doing? Welcome to very late courtroom bullshit. You guys, if you have not played the Great Ace Attorney or the Great Ace Attorney 2, we are in the middle of trial, and there's bad shit happening to bad people. So if you care about spoilers for that game or this game, I would highly recommend that you mute, but I do appreciate the support.
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Dated 31st of October. What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility that he wasn't even in the country.
Kazuma's damage sprite's really good.
Or animation, rather, I guess.
Order, order. This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized.
The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there?
I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean you knew about this? The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line of the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? Now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be.
What are you playing at, Prosecutor Rasogi?
The courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception.
Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it?
You're goddamn right. The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper. God fuck.
Order, order. What on earth are you saying, counsel?
The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. They discovered the location of the man's secret hideout. He was killed.
as I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that.
What?
Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper.
So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was...
Obviously, an assassination.
But his name wasn't Assassin. How could he be the assassin?
Baroque Van Zieks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast-iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson.
What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done nothing like that.
And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense.
No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper.
Even so,
There's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zieks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else.
Baroque Van Zieks is not the Reaper. Predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man.
And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all.
Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel?
Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikotoba and Jet Jigoku were on that very ship.
Yeah, it's Super Jigoku. Jigoku killed him.
If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny?
You're right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life.
What? You're telling me he was killed because he failed?
Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure.
Failure?
It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here.
What are you talking about? What detail?
Inspector Gina Lestrade.
What?
The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey.
You're lying. Even if all them bludgers what got taken out had it coming, the boss weren't the Reaper. Or Gina.
There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. He may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors.
I ain't heard nothing, and I don't believe a word of it.
Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss.
I don't...
I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook.
Yep. The Reaper's Notebook. Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to in the past 10 years, names of victims, dates, places, and stuff, and the last entry there was the 31st of October. It said grouse for the place on that date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something.
But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all. Somebody that got away 10 years ago, would that have been Jigoku?
Keep personal opinion out of your witness testimony, please. We require the only established facts here.
Must be so hard for her.
You can't deny it now, surely, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
What can I deny?
The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim only could have known if he was working with the Reaper. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st of October.
Oh, how do you read this then? Reading's still not a strong suit. Well, if it's not English, because we found out that the name in there wasn't English, right?
That ain't the problem, alright, Otto.
It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read. So it's someone from overseas?
You have a bash at it. Say Hishiro? Is it?
Yeah, say Hishiro. Jigokyu. Maybe?
What? It can't be. Seishiro Jigoku?
But that's Judge Jigoku.
Seishiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection.
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. That's what Kazuma's saying. He said that Gregson failed.
As I said, the Reaper failed.
Oh.
Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and return to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake. So he killed the inspector, personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Baroque Van Zeeks. It's an undeniably logical argument.
Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Ooh!
Let me tell you, bitch-ass something. You're wrong. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollowed chalice whilst I stand accused of murder.
Lord Van Zeeks?
The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally.
Crush it.
That girl is no detective.
What? Oh, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector. Fucking got him.
Repeating rumors heard around the yard. Reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you've clearly planned.
Well then, Kazuma. It seems you're not the only smart, sneaky son of a bitch in here.
Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I'm the Reaper. Who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago? But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse for testimony. What did you say?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance. My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony just given by the witness. I just don't like
Why unicorn? Why did they make him a unicorn? Fuck, man.
Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise in your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately.
At once, my lord. Well, Notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you know. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what he found.
If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial.
But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you?
Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper.
One arm? What are you people on about?
The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head, spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew their location.
You knew it said grouse.
Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone.
Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there.
But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then. Back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook.
Well, how did he know about the trunk then? Because that shit was MIA until we found it at Fresno Street because Gina had it, right? Pure creatures unable, known for their healing abilities and unable to be tainted by evil, or what it stands for at the least. Also known to hurt those who intend to do harm or have evil in their hearts. Blue tracksuit? It seems like a blue track, unless, because like, here's the issue, right? Either he didn't know about it, because like the issue is, right? He seems to have all of this information about stuff that we haven't presented before, right? He knows about a lot, right? He knows about the steamship SS Grouse, which Gregson boarded. He knows about he knows that the notebook, right? It listed all of these details, right? So, like, honestly, it could be self-incrimination, but at this point, I don't know if it's 100%. I don't know if it's, hey man, I'm telling you I know about this thing that I couldn't possibly have known about, right? Because the other shit he, or at least to me, he shouldn't have known about, right? I guess maybe the mention of him saying metal, right? Metal trunk? Because if you look at the trunk right now, right? The only way we knew it was metal was because of this, right? We had to open it beforehand, right? So who was slanging? Her dad. Because we didn't know it was metal until we saw this, right? Because it cut through the fabric into the metal. So yeah, it's probably the tip. It will probably be the tip of karma, right? Let's find out. Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago. Oh, no, it's all right. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? Names of victims, dates and places and stuff, and the last entry in there was October 31st. Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff? What in particular? Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name written over and over again. You mean Asa Shin? That's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday? Asa Shin. The assassin. What gave it away? Her fucking name? What's going on though, KX? How you doing? What? Like a killer, you mean?
Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you say? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes.
Then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person? No, because she's been fucking dead, you idiot.
Clearly the assassin, who was meant to take Seshiro Jigoku's life.
Gina, can you confirm that? Against the final entry listed Grouse and Seshiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only one entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. What? It just had a question mark or something like that, I believe.
In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not?
Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin?
Hold it!
Name of the mark, obviously Seshiro. And you're saying that the mark listed was Seshiro Jigoku? That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. Get it? So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature.
I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart.
He was studying under Okay. Yeah, no, Jigoku's super fucking evil then, I guess.
That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say.
The Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor.
If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now.
10 years ago, after that fateful case.
Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook.
I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here's got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. Alright. Give me that! What do you mean a criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal! But don't ask me, I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure. Yeah, of course. You're right. Yep. He broke the stand. Yeah. So I guess that would make him a criminal, right? It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it. But I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens. You did? It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage he caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court. Guilty or innocent alike. What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Shigoku was targeted for assassination? The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are beyond a sane person's comprehension. But... I've just about had enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people? It's cobblers. Come on, Hotto. Yeah? You saying nothing? You yelling out objection or something? What? Got to find the flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please. For the boss.
That outburst was an insult to the court in your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective.
Man, fuck you.
When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear?
I've had it with the lawyer. It's lies every bleeding place you look in this world, innit? Well, I've had enough. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not gonna let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. So do I present... Okay, so I can present the trunk, right? Because Kazuma said... Or do I... Yeah, I gotta present the trunk, right? I was about to say, unless I can present a person, you know, but I can't.
Objection.
Fuck. Well... I'd be wondering if I'll make it out of this courtroom alive. Did you examine the cut? I did. But yeah, maybe I'm supposed to be pressing this first. I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. Who the fuck is this nigga? The judge? That's Lord Mail Strongheart. Lord Mail Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice of Britain. What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency.
What? An inconsistency?
Really, Otto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... yeah, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... okay. So I did have to press it. There we go. That makes more sense. Where is he? There he is.
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Selgi.
Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Usogi has given no testimony.
What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I presented the relevant piece of information, or evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done.
Very well then, Counsel. Go ahead.
There we go. Okay. So I had it in the wrong order. They wanted me to press. I was like, yeah, here's the inconsistency, but they were like, oh, well, you gotta tell us who said the weird thing, right? Because I was like, I could present Kazuma being, or like weird, right? There's a flaw with Kazuma, but no, there was a flaw with what he said about the trunk. So I guess I present the trunk. I just had the fucking steps backwards. I guess.
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson.
Metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain. Relatively fresh one, too.
You mean that ain't grease from all the boss's fish and chips?
Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. It can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. Well, I found it. Me. With me nose for trouble. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Yeah, see, like, I thought this was deliberate, you know, like, oh yeah, he wouldn't know about it, but then there was that voice in the back of my mind saying, there's a lot of other stuff that he doesn't know about, or shouldn't know about. You know, like his passport, right? He knew about the passport, but Ryunosuke didn't react to him knowing about his travel orders, right? Only about the trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk?
We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you?
At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke?
Kazuma, what did you...
I thought he was just taunting us right there, like, hey, oh, you wanted me to, is that what you want me to say? I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose.
Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo. Surely you don't think...
Come on, Ryunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day in the same place as the inspector? It was there, with Gregson. There's a clue that you've overlooked. A secret that the trunk can tell us. Can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm gonna be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in this trunk the alleged clue is to be found.
Okay, so, question. Do they want me to open it, or can I just present this? Right? If I present this, is that going to be a, is that gonna be just a fucking get fucked idiot moment?
Have you seen this huge gash? Yeah.
For a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged, gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force.
Okay, so I have to open it.
I'm glad I looked at it first.
And this should talk about the piece of the metal. Yeah, okay. There's no way to prove that it was his sword that did it. I mean, there's literally a piece of the sword remaining. We ask him to draw his blade, and if the tip is missing... Because, like, if it's closed, like, I still know that this thing right here is a piece of metal, right? Like, I'm not talking about the actual cut, I'm talking like, I can see it still, right? That's my point. So I didn't know if I needed to open it up or not.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk. Like the tip of a blade.
A blade?
Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it here in this courtroom for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Asogi like a hawk. It won't be necessary. Tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asogi? Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes. On the 31st of October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I've killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes. And I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it?
We can believe Kazuma, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely in London the following day.
On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan.
You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin?
Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning.
Boarding house?
In Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It will be simple enough to verify. Then what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the Mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. Sabers or katanas? Sabers, easily. Better weapon. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? You don't need to answer that. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. Fucking move, hold on. Ooh. Ooh. Karma, the great blade. Such a thing of beauty, I want to gaze on it for hours. Aw, I was almost fucking certain, right? Hilt, maybe? No. We have no reason to inspect it further. I'm looking for the fucking Asogi papers. Except for the great sword broken. Such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. Almost hear Karma sobs. This man must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was gonna
To verify whether Seshiro Jigoku remains unharmed. What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal. And he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order! Order in court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now? Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku. No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake. My lord, I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Great. Strongheart is a man with that amount of influence? Yeah, he's the Lord Chief Justice. I think when your title has 3 different words in it, you do have a lot of influence, right? It's like CEO, right? Chief Executive Officer, right? That's 3 words, right? Attorney at law, right? Lord Chief Justice. Like that seems to be like once you get 3 letters, or once you get 3 letters to form an acronym, right? You get 3 words, you got a lot of influence. Because like even attorney at law, right? At doesn't make too much. Why is the courtroom empty and we're still here? Azuma, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare. I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories. Such a terrible sense of foreboding. Something awful has happened to Judge Jigoku. Then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control. I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering? Careening? Is that supposed to be careening? That's surely a typo, right? That's not a word. Here, let me look it up. Is it careening or careering? A British speaker is more likely to use career, while an American would choose careen. Both are acceptable. Okay. Okay, Britain, whatever. You guys are weird. That's a word that means job, by the way. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do now but wait. We're out of options. Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear. Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll Iris gave us. Well,
I guess we're gonna rip the head off this doll. Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Harley's ears or not? Why is this even a question? It goes then. I'm gonna do it. Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo. No looking back. Heave! Ow! Oh, that was a recording. The scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes? Where are you? Here, my dear fellow, here. It's the felt doll talking. Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can. Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Eve! What? Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off. Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Myself and my trusty partner. Are you on the fucking Buria? Oh, well, I mean... Okay, yeah, fair enough. We're presently inside the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse. The SS Grouse? She left over last night after final pieces of the cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France. Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump in the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we were hurried by cab to the station by train to the port in order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? Also, you guys are, there's no way you guys are fucking, like, going real crazy about a genius child inventing walkie-talkies? That's what's got you guys bent out of shape? Out of everything that's happened in Ace Attorney, right? Walkie-talkie rabbit dolls, that's where you draw the line? Public reminder that Apollo Justice tanked a courtroom explosion. And then proceeded to, like, give testimony and advocate in court. Phoenix Wright got smacked by a fucking car and was able to walk the next day. And need I remind you, magic literally exists in this universe. That is like case 2 of game 1. Spirits can possess people. Yeah, like you guys can't draw the line at fucking moving walkie-talkie rabbits, right? That steamship was where everything really took place. Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name? Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective. Recited to perfection. Well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow. Mr. Soto, gently with his genius's ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Oh, we're playing as Mikotoba. Is that right? Ah, there you are, Mikotoba. You may remember it was in fact I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recorded my steamship ticket. But of course it was, my dear fellow. Not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name. Yes, you did, didn't you?
You just entered a recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now. And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say.
Not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall have welcome news for you within the half hour.
Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful.
Until later, then.
Yeah, you'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first.
Ow, ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ears in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver that operated that way in the first place, Sholmes? The deuce would I know. It's Iris's invention, not mine. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half that now before the grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Naples before long. There are times, Mikitoba, when you'll make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin.
That's not beef, right? Because we're not on the Buria. Who is this? Who could this be? Let's before we talk to him, let's try to imagine his name, right? All right, y'all. What's his name, right? He's not Beef Stroganoff, right? But he's got to have something that relates to it, right? Beef stew? That would be cool, right? Beef stew. That would make sense, right? It's his brother. Oh, okay, so it would be another Stroganoff, right? But okay, what would be okay, so if it's his brother, his last name is Stroganoff. Chicken Stroganoff, right? Spelt like Chikin, Chikin. That would make sense.
First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one. But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow.
While you are loitering here, who are you?
My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you?
What the fuck? I was close. It was a T, right? Chicken Stroganoff. Okay.
Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor Chicken Stroganoff when you see? Great detective. Ha! I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikotova? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. It's me. Is that a tattoo? That says shows. I must say, whilst such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. How could you know this?
Would you believe me if I said that had one less mark in the Japanese version? Is it missing the M?
Elementary, my dear Mikatoba. I'm sure it was.
Or is it missing the S? Because, like, I'm saying, like, the ones that look like they're not written properly, right? The M and the S don't look like they belong in this, right?
3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku. There is no one with his name on board. But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage. Ah, you mean Easterman? He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think. What? Are you sure? So Sashiro's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please. No! I have orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikatoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make us some excuse so that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right? Curses! The plan is ruined. And you only have yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes. Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikatoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you? Opening any lock? Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner? How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? Do I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man. So, the game is afoot. Alright. This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance. You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be a very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report at once. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. Fucking Sholmes is over by the door watching a lockpicking lawyer video. No, not by me. By world famous... no, as I told you. Now, Sholmes, now. Click out of 1. 2 is binding. Little click out of 3. Click out of 4. Nothing out of 5. 6 is binding. Alright, back to 1. Look out of him. Or even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gulping at my brilliance, Mikatoba. In we go. Yes. Excuse me. Third of November, SS Grouse First Class, Cabine number 2. What's this ice for? Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there. They're Sashiro's without question. Well, it seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, as for here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. That burly crewman may return at any moment, Sholmes. Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling.
Well, first things first, what about this ice?
Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how
The ice is melting.
Something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikatoba, ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think?
Ooh, okay, yeah, there we go.
Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Suddenly, Mikotoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know.
Alright, so ice is here.
It's a very sizable trunk indeed. The Zero is partial to all things large.
Hey, yo.
And a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. Oh, perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked, so we can't look inside. Surely 5 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different, though. Sadly not. It is a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present.
Alright.
There's a speaking tube here, look. Though it's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose.
Or indeed so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere.
Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think?
Either that, or it would be prevent snakes from entering.
It's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it?
Aha, I get it.
These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and/or travel cases.
I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination.
What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you?
Maybe right. Probably just your imagination, though, a trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles. What's going on, Mrs. Bacon? How you doing?
It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be slightly off. According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe.
Indeed he was, and it was a similar size to this one. Ah, must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow.
Whatever for?
It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment.
Really, Sholmes, surely you can just tell me what you said.
Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer.
I think I'll just read about it in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes. This is the wastepaper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside.
Indeed? Then let us pry. I have discovered recently that I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' wastepaper baskets.
I sincerely hope only for your work.
Ah. Here we have a notice issued to the passengers from 3 days ago.
3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London, then. When I was still aboard myself.
Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, all crew members are required to assemble on the main deck at 10 p.m.
Yes, there was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once.
Alright. Oh, I can't check it. Oh no, I have to go back. I can't check the court record. I guess I will read that later.
The swall is a slightly different color just here. Do you see?
Indeed. What you observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief.
Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure.
He may very well be the elusive thief that have been plaguing France's galleries as of late.
Is this a Lupin reference? Is this the cross-tangential reference that we get from having Sholmes here? That's nice. I can't read a clock and I'm late. Fair enough, Kev, but you're here now, so what's going on? I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? An outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere.
Oh no, Chicken Stroganoff is back. You are still here!
Able Seaman Stroganoff. Hello again.
I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You're waiting for me. Of course, I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before.
Or innocent chicken.
It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off, now. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow, but first, there is something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth. I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all. And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff, you know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you? How can you?
Gracious Sholmes? You mean you've worked it out? All of it?
It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my imitable logic and reasoning?
Nothing would please me more.
What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What?
Yes, of course.
You see, you've noticed it too, Mikotoba. Then please do take the lead. And this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku having disembarked 2 hours ago.
Bro, this is gonna be fucking cool. Like, because this is the first time that Sholmes isn't gonna be just flat out wrong, right? It's him and Mikotoba doing cool guy shit. If you get any part of this wrong, Sholmes will sass Mikotoba and tell him to stop fucking around. If it hasn't been obvious by now, he's been fooling around and getting his deductions wrong on purpose this whole time. Yeah, no, that became clear with the one in the suite with Iris. Like, oh yeah, he's very clearly saying the wrong shit in order to get people to get into the art of deduction, right? That's why at the end of the last one, he was like, it seems you've become a master of the art of deduction, right? Which means he has the right answer and posits the wrong... He posits a perfectly, like, logically sound wrong one immediately afterwards, which is honestly more impressive. Which is super cool. I like that.
Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observation skills then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3. Why, of course it has, quite. Now all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe, and the answers become clear. So, impress me. I think I can manage that. Oh, and this is all we get? That's super cool. It's the glass, first of all. Because it's, if he left 2 hours ago, then how the fuck did this happen? Back in case 3? Yeah, in case 3, when he was like, yeah, no, alright, so, fuck, how do I really quickly, anti-gravity. All this stuff was on the ceiling, it got flipped over, there's footprints on the ceiling, which means he walked up there, and, this bomb is an anti-gravity device. There we go. He has to believe that. And he fucking runs with it. That's, like, it's super impressive, you know? I really do appreciate that. Beg your pardon? Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious, the ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With this well-chilled glass in hand. There are a number of songs in these games that have the tap dancing SFX. For the Sholmes theme and the Partners theme, it's even more significant because you have the leading instrumentals being a violin for Holmes and the tap dancing for Mikotoba. That's actually pretty cool. I thought it was just supposed to be like obviously I've been hearing like what sounds like that tap dancing, and I was like, those are like castanets to just make it sound like a little bit more like enticing, right? Make it sound a little bit more eccentric to match Sholmes, right? But now seeing Mikotoba do his tap dancing, that does make sense. Super cool. I really like this. Super nice. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff? But why would Sashiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? That's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door and Sashiro was... Yes. 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected. Well, you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. I really hope that, like, I don't think he'll be in the wardrobe, but part of me wants to click on the wardrobe when it's like, where is Jigoku? And then it's like, no, Naruhodo's not in there. You know? I think I'll do that. Like, because he's obviously very clearly hiding inside of his trunk because all of his clothes are outside of the trunk, you know? But you can misclick if you want? Okay. I want to see what the dialogue is. What traces? I know nothing about this. Now, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganov? Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't have escaped your notice. Something out of... I wonder what it could be. It's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place here are being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba. Oh, quite, but life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if I can uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
Take that!
It's the rules of passage in this frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall is if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here. The shape and size are a perfect match. Duh! You are right. When did the frame move? Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganov? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh dear. That really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall? That looks like a bullet hole. What? Who has been shooting walls? Well, 10 years ago, when Mikotoba was here, he was busting in some walls. Oh shit, accidentally hit autoplay. I see the projectile has been removed. Clearly, the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganov. I have a distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern stranger? Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see? Good. Blue tracksuit niggas. Sure, we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes. Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. Quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it. He's got like a fucking fat stack of cash in his back pocket. So I'm to glare at the fellow from all sides? Well, I can certainly do that. Hey. Chunky arms? Not his chunky arms. Wad of banknotes. Fat stack of cash.
Take that!
It's almost too obvious for words. Quite. The universal language of the world. Money. And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seishiro Jigoku. Yes? Yeah! So, I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice. What? I believe you, Mr. Stroganoff. I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding at this precise moment in time.
Damn, I wonder where he could be.
As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, a furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes.
Final answer? Coulda... Like, why is it fucking highlighted, right? Like, why? Like, that's egregious, right? That's, like, had this not have been highlighted, I wouldn't have been so caught off guard by it, but that is grossly racist. Everybody finish your drink. Holy shit.
You need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man's turned his entire head.
It's not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tap dance or tapping toes decide, my dear fellow. Please give me something cool.
Take that!
Mikotoba, no games now, were my words, were they not? Come Sholmes, where's the fun in life without a little fooling around, Quite right you are. It was a close shave. I'd better rethink that before I'm the fool here.
I did take damage. Man, and I didn't get a neat line about the wardrobe. No. Damn it. See, when SNR said you can misclick, I was like, okay, I won't take damage for it. Take fucking damage. I did it for the sake of finding out potential content. It was nothing though. Damn it.
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you? Ah! The truth is, Sashiro Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is at this very moment doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk.
I said that knowing you could take a hit and be fine. That's valid.
He still has a breath to take. If he still has breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't even know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for someone to open it after our departure.
It doesn't say Sholmes, does it?
Of course.
So what could it be? Is it upside down then? What would it be then? Right? Because the S's are clearly 5s. If it's upside down, the H makes sense to be a 4. The O is a 0. The L is a 1. I need to see his arm. Because I need to see if I'm supposed to be doing it like upside down, in which case it would be what? It would be 52311045, which is 7 digits, right? Because there's no way the M and the E are the same number, right? All right, there we go. Yeah. 52311045. Okay.
Don't move a muscle, my good seaman.
Got him. It's a 6? No, look at it upside down. It's a 2. It's a 2. 52311045. You see what I mean? Because he's reading it like, imagine how you would look at your arm like that, right? We're looking at it like this because we're on the other side. His handwriting is just fucked, right? Imagine like you're looking at your arm like that, right? You have to turn your arm up to look down at it, so look at it from this way. Read it right to left, imagine that you're looking at it upside down.
How on earth do you expect me to... It's a 7-digit number, remember? Quickly now, we have little time.
Well, here we go. 5. And the max digit is 5. Okay, that makes sense. 5, 2, 3,
Then it was the 1, right? And then we'll make this the 5 just so we know that we're ending on it. 045, right? 523 1045.
Take that!
That did it. It's open. You had to meddle, didn't you? Well, Eugene, you found me now. Seishiro. I was really hoping beyond hope to not find you here, you know? You're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, why? I just wish it was some other way. Well, are you ever going to introduce me? Reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of your many exploits. Excuse my manner, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jigoku, my old friend and traveling companion. The devil is in the details, Mikotoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion. You made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour. I see my reputation precedes me as well. What an honor. Well, Seishiro, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here in this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey? Yes, I've since heard.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hearing, like I said, I thought they were castanets. And then when this kicks up and you hear the strings come in, that's Sholmes.
Because you were once prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived at London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? Afraid so, yes. Of course I realize now, but I really ought to have confided in you. Somewhat surprising, I must say. What is? Well, the first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available. So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket and here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you'd already purchased your return ticket before we ever even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else from taking this cabin and seeing the evidence. Is that it? Eugene, I have nothing to say to you. Well, in a mere 5 minutes, this ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once. You have no jurisdiction over my movements. You have this, Seishiro. Take it. What is it? It's a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what the ramifications of ignoring a document like this from the British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugene.
Yeah, there's the strings, right?
Come on, let's go. One moment. What is it, Sholmes? Inside Mr. Jigoku's trunk. I found this rather fascinating trinket. What is it? Seshiro?
It's the top of Gregson's pocket watch.
I can help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he genuinely doesn't know. Well, let us pocket is a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant. November, 12:10 p.m., the Old Bailey courtroom. Well, everybody's back. My Sogi. I know you. I know you wouldn't lie. But still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying. During the past 30 minutes while this court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jigoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained. You must accept the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection!
No, the trial can't end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard all the relevant testimony. And there can only be one conclusion, that the accused is guilty. All relevant testimony? Far fucking from it. There's still a crucial witness from whom the court has yet to hear a single word of testimony. In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel. Mikotoba's name, Eugene, means a good friend of? Yeah, no, we got told that when, last time we were here by, SNR, because, the revelation of Sholmes and Mikotoba, yeah. So yeah, we got the breakdown before the breakdown. Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way and scheduled to arrive tomorrow. Who on earth is this crucial witness? Seshiro Jigoku. The very man alleged to be murdered by the Reaper. Judge Jigoku, you found him. The fucking 3. If he's gonna do the slam, if he's gonna do the gavel bang with that staff, he's gotta do it with the 3. The 3 is good, right? That one's good. I like that one. Does sound like some bullshit, though. But the investigations of every policing resource in the capital suggest Jigoku is already dead. How in the name of God did you find the man? He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions. Herlock Sholmes... Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jigoku on the night of his death. Because along with Prosecutor Isogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man. Judge Courtney has a run for her money with Strongheart's gavel staff? No. Fucking Justine Courtney's
extendo mallet is honestly the best, right? That is a whole Bloodborne trick weapon right there. My god. We really need... I really do need Ace Attorney 7 with all the investigations characters to be present, or the relevant investigation characters to be present. I need to see Shilong Lang and his partner Franziska von Karma running around as Interpol agents, right? I need that. I need Justine Courtney and fucking Sebastian de Best to be running around, right? I need them in conjunction with one another. Because you know how much I was saying, like, I really want to see like a cross-reference timeline interaction between Kay Faraday and Gina Lestrade. I still think that Kay interacting with Trucy would be great too. I need all the investigation characters to come back, right? Shilong, could you imagine a fucking, like, a proper, like, orchestral remix of Speak Up Pup? Dude, I'd pop. That would be so good. Which means that Sashiro Jigoku is the sole witness who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment should be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene at the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side? No, my lord. No objections, my lord. Live to fight another day, by the skin of our teeth. Hopefully when Ace Attorney gets his next anniversary, they'll do more orchestral music, because they did it before. There hasn't been an orchestral remix. Wait, what? There's a short portion coming up that you can play after that part as a TBC before the trial again? Okay. Because I was about to say, like, I remember you saying you can play a little bit beyond the trial part. But I don't remember... Because I would assume that the trial would have been concluded when we got to, like, had I saved, like, doing the, what's the word? During the Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, right? Would that have said investigation as well? Because I thought that was investigation. There is an orchestra of Lang's theme. I imagine that's, like, non-official, right? Because I need an orchestral theme of Pressing Pursuit, too. I need that. I need an orchestral theme of Lying Coldly. You know, I need all of the investigations music needs to be brought into the original like series and games, right? But I think before they do that, they need to fucking port investigations. That's why I'm really pushing for it, because we got this, right? Because we got this collection of TGAA 1 and 2, right? I'm really hoping that the next thing they do is Ace Attorney Investigations, just 1 and 2 together. And then they just push it on Steam. Lying Coldly is Godly. The fucking Investigations 2 soundtrack might be my favorite soundtrack. But I do need all that music to come up in the actual games.
The unexpected halt of proceedings sent a clamor around the courtroom. But outside the Bailey, where Londoners knew nothing of the secret trial within, it was a typical still night. Then, at a little past 8 o'clock that evening, Mr. Sholmes and his partner returned to Baker Street. 3rd of November, 8:07 p.m., Sholmes' suite. It was the 15th anniversary concert. It's kind of weird then that they would do that without actually putting the game towards the west. You know what I mean? We have returned, my dear fellows. Welcome back to Britain. And thank you for your timely help. Think nothing of it. I believe you've had an even more wearing day than Mikotoba and I, no? You could say that. We were on the brink of defeat in court earlier. So this prosecutor Asogi had you on the ropes, did he? And he's your best friend, you say? Well, he's not really the man I knew in Japan anymore. Kazuma's changed. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I mean, it's incredible. To think that he'd even entertain the idea of acting as the Reaper's assassin. Well, nevertheless, you must introduce me. After all, I've only ever met the young man as a corpse. Oh, this started almost a year ago now. Mr. Sholmes still hasn't told us the truth about what really happened back then. About the motivation for what he himself described as a great detective's lie. Now then, I must say, it's really quite a journey all the way to France. Look at the fucking feast on the table back there. Well, it is another country, Mr. Sholmes. So, what news of Judge Jigoku?
We took him to Scotland Yard. The investigating detectives there have a lot of questions for the man.
Poor Professor Mikotoba. This must be quite a shock for him. Ah yes, I picked this up at the telegraph office on our way home. What is it?
Surely you haven't forgotten already? I put you up to the matter only yesterday. You put upon me, Sholmes, and I had to fill out your telegram to Japan and foot the bill as well.
Oh, you've had a reply already? What was so urgent though, Mr. Sholmes?
Such matters can wait until later. I'm far too hungry for an involved conversation at present.
Well, that's good news, because supper is ready, everyone.
Ah, and what a feast it is. If I were none the wiser, I'd think the trial were won already. Roast beef kippers, stew, steak, and kidney pie, Yorkshire pudding.
Tomorrow could be a very long day, so eat up.
In that case, I think I'll seat myself just here. This place appears to be the only one set with a helping of pheasant as well.
Sorry, Hurley, not there.
However not. Are we in set places this evening?
Yeah, and that place is for Susie's daddy.
For me?
That's right, I made it especially for you, Professor Mickey.
Professor Mickey is great. I see. Well, that's terribly kind of you.
It's a shame, really.
What do you mean?
Well, for a brief moment, I believed it. Susie and I were half-sisters, I mean.
You found out.
Well... Aris, do you mean... Yeah, I know now. I overheard yesterday.
Well, fucking course she did.
I secretly listened to the conversation you had after I tricked you all into thinking I'd left. Misunderstanding arose because of that autopsy report from 10 years ago. But actually, it turned out that neither Dr. Wilson nor Professor Mikotoba are Iris's father.
What? Yes, about that, Iris. You know
I know. You can't tell me at the moment. Well... ha. Well, shit. Pheasant is by way of an apology. Sorry for eavesdropping.
Oh. No, that's quite alright. Then why don't I get any apologetic pheasant?
So just who is Iris's father? I suppose that's not something we'll be finding out today.
So then, let us dine, while our largely pheasantless plates are still piping hot. A fine idea, Sholmes. It all looks absolutely delicious.
As much as you like. There are always seconds. This could be our last chance to ask questions before tomorrow's trial. About that telegram from Japan. And about Kazuma. Can't let this opportunity slip away.
Bro, look at him.
He is stanced up. Mr. Sholmes? What are you doing?
Surely it's abundantly clear that I wasn't brooding over Mikotoba's refusal to share his pheasant with me. Nevertheless, I felt the need to withdraw from the social circle for a while and look on with hungry eyes.
Sorry, Hurley, but I cooked that pheasant especially for Susie's daddy.
No, I've played the role of father to you for far longer.
Mr. Sholmes? Could I discuss some things with you?
Certainly, my dear fellow, I find myself in quite the mood for a spell of conversation. No doubt you're hungry to learn more of my deep love of game.
I can probably contain my curiosity on that one.
You needn't look at me in that fashion.
In what fashion?
It seems that before we discuss the pheasant, we have some rather unpheasant matters to discuss.
Ladies and gentlemen, Herlock Sholmes. Just fucking give it up for him. He's such a... What a guy. So, what was in the telegram you received back from Japan then?
This, I think my lucky stars had arrived in time. Record found as indicated, duplicate follows. Okay,
So... Yeah, it's back. Typo, shit instead of shin. Yeah, I was about to say, that's missing an N there. It was missing an N in the first one, too, if I'm remembering correctly, because it was just a shin, right? It was like this in the telegram at the end of one when it was translated, right? So I I don't know if that's because it seems deliberate then if they're misspelling it twice in the same like reference point, you know? Is this a table or a typo on the telegram, or is it a typo of the translators? Any hoozle, we got the names. Oh, those 4 names. You've come across that exact same list before.
I was actually wondering if this was going to come up again. It shouldn't be funny. It shouldn't. It really, it does not, it's not funny. I just don't, I don't understand why it is. Just the fucking cut to him face down is fucking hilarious. Oh my god. They got us, I've mentioned this before. I don't know what it is. But if you go from showing me something natural, right? And you show me somebody completely in a way that they're not supposed to be, right? Like, if you go from, like, standard conversation, I'm talking to people, right? And then you just hard cut to somebody face down on the ground. It's just funny. I don't know what it is. This joke never stops being funny for me. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, it's funny. It's not even fat bitches. It's literally, cause if you don't remember, if you weren't here for it, during Danganronpa V3, there is a similar case of me finding this funny, right? Where it happens to someone who's not fat, right? And for the longest time, I still find that the most hilarious thing of all time. Oh my god. It's not funny, but it's funny. Shout out CRS Cork, by the way. You posted it a couple streams ago, didn't you? No, that was Investigations too. And that made me laugh when I was making it. But no, I'm talking about the seesaw. What appeared to be a simple case of aggravated murder turned out to be masking monumental intrigue. A plot that involved the sale of British governmental secrets to foreign states. And exposing the means by which those secrets were being leaked, we deciphered a fragment of a message. K. Sogi, A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson. But we didn't find the names out until the case was over. And we never did get to the bottom of what they meant. All we knew was that the information had been sent by someone in the British government to somebody in Japan. So, why are the names coming up again now? Yes, where did the sender of your telegram discover them, Mr. Sholmes? I have here the message I had wired yesterday. Allow me to read it to you. Of course. It's from Jigoku's office. Who would have guessed? Expect to find communication from Britain dated 1 year ago. List of 4 names, need by tomorrow. Naruhodo. Hosonaga! I sent it to a detective I know who specializes in clandestine missions of this nature. Yeah! Yeah! I'm so happy he's back. You asked Inspector Hosonaga to undertake such an onerous task for you. And in my name? I wonder what guys he opted for this time. My dear fellows, it was a matter of great urgency, you understand? Excuse me. Anyway, the list of names was found in Sashiro's office, as Sholmes predicted. So, you mean that mysterious collection of names that was sent from Britain to Japan was... It was sent to Judge Jigoku. He was the intended recipient. Don't believe it. But that doesn't answer the question of what the list of names actually signifies. Did formulate a hypothesis about that. But without a shred of evidence, I couldn't possibly have shared it. Mr. Sholmes,
Looks deadly serious for once. Well, first things first. Following departure from the port of Dunkirk, Jesus. All members are required to assemble on the main deck at 10 p.m. in order to review evacuation procedures. The drill will take 20 minutes. Crew to resume duties as soon as the drill is over. Okay. Didn't get to read that. You see little things all over the place, don't you? These things all over the place, don't you? It's the part on top of a pocket watch that you twist to set the time, isn't it? It's called the crown, I believe. A watch would be quite useless without one. The crown? Like what sits on top of a monarch's head? That's a very grand name for such a tiny part. Actually... Yes, Mr. Naruhodo? If this is a crown, I have a feeling I might have seen a monarch around here with a very bare head indeed. If by monarch you mean pocket watch, then I'm quite sure you have. So do I get to combine them? Do you guys not have the cool feature from Ace Attorney Investigations that you should bring back to every future game in the series because it's such a good feature? Dog, shout out, mans. Shout out Hosonaga, man. If there's anybody that we can give props to in this world, it's Inspector Hosonaga and Wrighton Mini Memo. Wrighton Mini Memo is a fucking double national hero. What a guy. They're both pretty good. And we'll give Gregson the props when everything comes to light, you know? Didn't you hate Mini Memo? No. What? I hated him because I was having to fucking defend while he was lying, right? But that guy's he took out a fucking international assassin. That guy's cool. And he did it for the sake of justice in his country. That guy is a national hero. What the fuck? Didn't you hate Mini Memo? That guy's a fucking lord. Yeah, he smoked a racist British assassin. That guy's going down in history. Alright, what about Kazuma's death? That tragedy we had to go through on the SS Burya. It was all for nothing. Kazuma wasn't dead at all. We were completely taken in by the lie you told us. Your great detective's lie. Also, does that mean that, what's her name? Nicolina, right? Or Nicomina? Which one was it? I remember Nico something, but I can't remember what the fuck else it was. But, the ballerina, right? Does she just have to live with the fact that she got told that she murdered somebody on accident? Or did Sholmes tell her, like, oh yeah, by the way, you didn't kill that guy? Because, oh my god, could you imagine? I took no pleasure in deceiving you. However, at the time, all that concerned me was preventing the young man's study tour from taking place, whatever the cost. What? I capitalized on the events that transpired to see that he was sent back to Japan. His remains, you mean? Precisely, Miss Susato. And then I made sure that somebody else was sent to Britain in his stead. You mean... The arrangement between our two countries was already in place. One university student lawyer and one judicial assistant to be accommodated on a study tour. In other words, by arranging for someone else to fill the place originally intended for Mr. Osogi, I would successfully prevent the man from arriving on our shores for several years at least. Wait, do you mean to say that it was all in aid of stopping Kazuma coming to Britain? That's why you... Think back, Mr. Naruhodo. Was there not somebody who quite casually urged you to continue on the voyage to England?
What's going on, Zone? How you doing? Gameplay-wise, I agree it drags on. Yeah, like... It feels like Shulms could have just done a simple great deduction and lied about it, right? I was here about a week ago asking about V3. I liked watching you play it. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Sponsy. I'm sorry about the intermittent breaks that might have happened and the lag that might have happened during the actual play. That's the unfortunates of my previous connection setup, right? But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you got what it was. At the end of that collection, you said you were gonna play Zero Escape, but that didn't get saved. Oh boy, did it not fucking get saved. Holy shit, I hate those games. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, okay? Oh my god, I've ranted about Zero Escape for a long ass time. But yeah, I really enjoyed Virtue's Last Reward. The others, oh boy. But let me try to get to the end of this and then we'll talk about it just real quick. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know? Alright. Yeah, I guess he did. What a guy. So, you manipulated me? I've often remarked on the extraordinary lengths to which a friendship would drive a man. I was quite sure that you would rise to the challenge for your late friend. I believe it.
But if it was all contrived... I mean, what happened was treated by the authorities as murder. A woman was mistakenly arrested as the perpetrator. What do you suppose became of her?
Naturally, I didn't allow the misapprehension to have any serious repercussions. I subsequently explained everything and assisted the unfortunate soul in finding the foreign refuge she... Okay, good. Okay, that was a very big question. Like, Did you murder her? Did you take her out back and just old yeller her like she can't know? I seem to remember Miss Susato and I had some rather strong words for her. Well, she was certainly not devoid of all guilt. She deserved every word, I'm sure. Wonder if she made it to America then.
I'm afraid I simply cannot comprehend it. How would you go to such lengths, Mr. Sholmes? Why were you so determined to stop Kazuma from reaching Britain?
The truth is, 12 months ago, there was already a very tangible omen of impending tragedy, you see. An omen that, at this very moment in time, is close at hand. I don't want to spoil this game for myself. Chat, let me know when he starts ranting about Zero Escape. Yeah, I'll type myself in the chat, so you'll know. An omen of all these tragic events that already existed a year ago is close at hand. We need to find out exactly what Mr. Sholmes knows. Do I just need to show him the fucking telegram? The thing that he fucking gave me? You're such a dumb bitch. There was no room for doubt with your instructions in the telegram, Mr. Sholmes. You were very clear that it was Judge Jigoku's office that should be searched. So, you obviously knew that's where the list of names would be found.
Keisugi A. Shin, T. Gregson, J. Wilson.
But we only learned of those 4 names just over 6 months ago now. And only because they appeared as a part of the top secret government communications that were leaked. It's true, yes, but at the time you were unaware of the background. You see, these 4 names were wired to Japan around 6 months before that. Approximately this time last year, in fact.
when you were both still in Japan. It really would be hypocrisy on my part to reprove others for intercepting state secrets. Because after all, I'm perpetually eavesdropping on communications between the British and Japanese governments.
You're perpetually doing fucking what? How?
Never mind the details, but you should know. No secret is safe from Herlock Sholmes when he has designs on knowing it.
Oh my, Mr. Sholmes. What a fabulous line.
Now, 1 month after that list of 4 names was wired to the recipient Jigoku in Japan, Dr. John H. Wilson was murdered. As soon as I learned of the incident, a hypothesis rapidly took shape in my mind. As it turned out, I was partially correct and partly mistaken. Nevertheless, it was the beginning of all the tragic events that were to follow.
Mr. Sholmes, please, tell us all you know. Tell us about these 4 names and the tragedy to which they're all somehow connected. There we go.
As I said, when I learned of Dr. Wilson's murder in Japan, my mind immediately turned to these 4 names. Because, you see, there was someone else on the list, who I believe to be recently deceased.
What? Who?
A Shin, as it was transcribed in Japanese script. In actual fact, Miss Asa Shin.
So it is a typo in the telegram, then.
That was a familiar name to me. She was a professional killer, well known among London's unsavory classes.
Oh, I see.
But she had completely vanished from existence several months before Wilson's murder. So I came to the logical conclusion that she had herself been killed. And accordingly, I became fearful for the lives of the remaining 2 persons on the list.
Sogi and T. Gregson.
Owing to our proximity, I decided to take measures to protect Gregson myself. But I determined it would be safest if young Asogi were to stay away from Britain.
So that's why you went to such lengths to prevent his study tour from going ahead.
Exactly.
So, you already knew who Kazuma was, Mr. Sholmes?
Oh yes, Sholmes and I have exchanged correspondence for years. I recounted many tales about Asogi to him in my letters. And the news of Dr. Wilson's death, of course.
So, Dr. Wilson is dead then? Didn't know.
Oh, Iris.
I know he wasn't my daddy, but still, that's very sad. So sorry, Iris. We knew the significance of the name, obviously, but we just couldn't bring ourselves to tell you. No. It's actually probably for the best. Imagine, hey, your dad's dead. What, my dad's dead? Oh, that wasn't your dad, by the way. Who's my dad? You know, like, that would have been awful. But what you just told us, Mr. Sholmes, doesn't completely tie... Did I see fucking Mikotoba's mouth move there? Or am I crazy? There's one big hole in your hypothesis. A big hole, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh yes. You mean about Asa Shin, I presume?
Iris knows Mikotoba is her dad? No, she knows Mikotoba is not her dad. Oh, of course. Exactly. She wasn't killed, was she? She was in Japan posing as a visiting student under the assumed name of Giselle Brett.
I'm glad you're keeping up, my dear fellow. I only became aware of that fact 2 days ago in the foyer of the Great Waterloo Hotel.
Ah.
And upon hearing that startling revelation, the hypothesis that I'd formed surrounding those 4 names was completely turned topsy.
How was Phoenix supposed to die in case one of Trials and Tribulations? His then girlfriend at the time, Dahlia, or Hawthorne, right? Not Dahlia, right? We didn't know that it was a person in disguise. Yeah, put fucking poison in his cold medicine. And then Mendham got pushed into the electrical cables.
What? Topsy.
Topsy hypothesis.
What do you mean when you say your hypothesis would turn topsy, Mr. Sholmes?
I believed all 4 names on the list to be names of victims. However, I was mistaken. Very much so. Sashin was a killer. So this telegram is a list of both victims and killers, is it?
Indeed.
And it would seem that Miss Shin was dispatched from Britain with the sole intention of dispatching Dr. Wiz. The visiting student status being merely a front.
Ah! Which would, of course, explain why no motive would be determined for her actions. So the real reason Dr. Wilson was killed by Asa Shin is because he was the target of an assassination.
We're on with that knowledge. Fresh consideration of this telegram puts this in a very different perspective.
What do you mean?
Well, does it not strike you? There is another name among the 4.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like, yeah.
Wasn't Deed Man from Investigations? Or am I crazy? Anywho.
Wait, you mean...
But of course, a name you only knew too well.
You mean Kazuma? He did say in court earlier today.
He was? He was killed by a hitman, wasn't he? Anyway, young Mr. Asogi accepted that mission a year ago now.
Surely not.
In conclusion, this document is a contract of sorts. An international agreement, one might say, detailing an assassin exchange. Was he? I couldn't remember if he was shot or stabbed, but yeah, he was shot by an assassin that Callisto you hired. Yeah. I don't remember. Yeah, was his name Macrel? I don't remember.
How could Kazuma possibly have gotten involved in something like that?
Well, I mean, consider who his father was. Let's assume that we have 2 parties, each wishing to dispose of a distinct individual. Those 2 parties make a contract to swap their respective assassination targets. That would then be an assassin exchange.
So to begin with, the British assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Japan, where she kills her target. And then the Japanese assassin is dispatched as a visiting student to Britain in order to eliminate his target. It certainly does sound like an exchange. But what on earth is the point?
Don't forget, Naruhodo, that the British assassin at least escaped conviction. Thanks to diplomatic immunity afforded by consular jurisdiction.
Oh yeah!
Such jurisdiction should be null and void under the terms of the new treaty between our 2 countries. But the fact that it was brought into play suggests intervention at the very highest levels.
The highest levels, like the Lord Chief Justice and the Supreme Court of Judicature?
These murders were 2 sides of the same coin, linked not by a common motive but a contractual agreement. As such, they appeared utterly unrelated. Yet in truth, the assassins were complicit in one singular devilish scheme. The dissociation and the safeguard of diplomatic immunity were, I believe, the motivation behind this plot. Wait a minute, Sholmes. If this telegram really is describing the exchange of assassins as your suggestion, it would mean that the Japanese killer's target was never Seshiro Jigoku at all. It would mean Asogi's target was actually Inspector Gregson.
What? Cosmo was here for Gregson? So Judge Jikoku wasn't actually the mark. Yes, that's exactly what it would mean. I hold myself personally responsible for failing to keep the inspector safe. Mr. Sholmes. Told him of my fears and implored him to seek a transfer to an overseas position. Hastily, with a young pickpocket in tow. Yeah, Gina. Come to think of it, Inspector Gregson did mention that to us at the Great Exhibition. That he'd be transferring to the Paris police and taking Gina with him. But without informing me, he engaged in one last assignment, it seems. Sadly, it turned out to be his very last. It's too much to take in. Alright, everyone. That's quite enough of all that serious talk for one day. Isn't it, Hurley? I mean, look at the time. Ah, quite right, Iris. We must conclude our preparations for tomorrow. What preparations?
Well, I think I shall make my way back to my hotel room now. This certainly has been a night to remember.
It is a bit sad, though. I mean, I like the idea of you being my daddy. Now, part of me says I need to save this, but because it's Iris on screen, I don't know if I can say it right or save it right in good conscience. Like, I need this, but maybe just the text box, right? I'll just save the text, right? That way nobody knows who's saying the line, right? I don't even know who's saying the line. Look. What role did Morgan Fay play in both JFA and Trials and Tribulations? She was, yeah, she was trying to get Pearl to become the head, or she was trying to become the matriarch of the Kurain channeling technique, right? So she wanted to have Pearl become the only person that could channel the spirits, right? But that was like her role, or like her role that she played. She was a villain, I guess, right? But she just wanted to become the the sole like leader of Kurain Village, right? That's at least my understanding. Because then Susie would have been my big sister. I'm sorry, Iris. I know, Iris. I was thinking quite the same thing. Were you? If somebody like me would be worthy, I would be delighted to become your sister. What? Really? Oh yes, without question. So, you'll teach me all the ways you know to throw Runo to the floor? Yes, of course. It would be my pleasure. You didn't have to agree quite so readily. Oh, but wait a minute. If Susie's gonna be my big sister, you could be my big brother if you want, Runo. Huh? I mean, yeah, of course. If you'll have me, I'll gladly be your brother. Well then, Iris, we must always be mindful of feelings. I've raised you so well. Because being sensitive is your strong suit, naturally. This is a nice little stop-off point before we go back to convicting our friend of being an assassin. Right, I'm gonna work extra hard for tomorrow now, because it's for my big brother and sister. What is all this talk about preparing for tomorrow? Preparing what? You'll just have to wait and see. Oh. Good luck tomorrow in court.
I'm expecting a sterling performance. I'll do my very best, of course. So the overnight break in the trial's proceedings became a crucial turning point, exposing new truths whilst posing new conundrums. That listed 4 names on the telegram in Judge Jigoku's office, and the extraordinary assassination plot in which my best friend had somehow become involved. I felt as though I had been plunged into an ever greater darkness all of a sudden. But at the same time, I felt assured that I would see the light again soon. Look at us all! Because I was lucky enough to have the most wonderful family in the world standing steadfastly behind me. What about your actual parents, Ryunosuke? What about those people? God damn it. Also, I guess the reasoning for Kazuma accepting the offer was if he gets to kill Gregson, he kills the man that he kills the man that investigated and is responsible for his father being executed, right? So I guess that makes sense, right? That would be the reason. He's going to kill the man that killed his father. Quiz time, what did Larry see in Trials and Tribulations Case 5? When he saw the body being swung under the bridge, he said he saw a flying angel because he was down by the river, right? He was camping out while the bridge was on fire. So he thought he saw like he thought he saw some fucking person flying, right? All right. Let's go ahead and see. This is I'm giving the note right here. This is where the part is ending, so the next part will start. But I believe now I can talk about bro, what? This account keeps popping up. I really don't know why it's here. I don't know if this is like a bot account or something. But here, let me ping Sponsy. Oh, somebody already did. No more spoilies. All right, so I said we were gonna talk about and this is where I'm done with like Ace Attorney for tonight. But we were gonna talk about the Zero Escape series. So if you guys weren't here around what would it be, like April of last year, April, May? We played, or we started to play, after we finished the Danganronpa series, we started to play Zero Escape, right? We started off with 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors. However, for some reason, the version of the game that I was playing, for some reason on Steam, it would hard crash whenever I would get to a specific ending, right? Whenever I got to any questions, or not any questions, whenever I got to any end of the route, the game would crash. It would not save my progress. So I was able to get to the end of all of the vanilla routes, but I couldn't go back and keep the mental information that Junpei was getting when he would finish a route and restart, right? Whenever he would jump back to the beginning, he would not, I wouldn't have that save state of like, oh, you've completed this route, so you need that information, so you can't progress, right? So I was not able to actually play through the entirety of 9 person, 9 hours, 9 doors. However, we did do a story recap. What was the account name that fuck, I can't, it's some edgy shit, right? But he had a recap of the entirety of 999 that we watched, and we kind of got everything. So we did go through a decent portion of the game, but we couldn't get the true quote-unquote ending because we just couldn't reach the end of the game. We got stuff like the various endings where we tried to leave, you know, where Zero ends up stabbing us, where Clover ends up going crazy and killing everybody, right? We ended up getting a lot of endings, but they wouldn't save after we reached the credits. But we did get a lot. And through our playtime, it became apparent to me that this game does not take its premise 100% seriously. And what I mean by that is we get told when we wake up on the Gigantic, right? We get told that oh, hey, everybody, you've got 9 hours to escape this place. There's a lot of puzzles. If you go through a wrong door in the wrong order with the wrong amount of bracelets, you motherfuckers will die, right? If you're not able to solve all the puzzles in 9 hours, you motherfuckers die, right? And to that effect, right, like I have already like mentally committed to, we need to go fast, right? 9 hours is not a lot of time, especially if we're supposed to be like trying to do math and figuring out which people are trying to go where and trying to solve a little bit of a mystery in these puzzles, right? Like in canon, right, the universe of 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors makes sense to me that everybody involved is supposed to be going fast, right? Now, when this takes a turn, right, is when I step into an area and Akane pulls at my sleeve, "Hey, Jumpy, do you want to hear about the entire history of the Titanic?" I would like to solve the puzzle, Akane. No, but I need to tell you about the spectral force fields that were in place upon the Titanic, and I need to tell you about the woman on ice, Alice, right? All right, how long is that going to take? Approximately 45 minutes for each. Because it feels like the game doesn't take its time limit seriously to me, right? The 9 hours, because like we go from it's not like it's 9 hours like of playtime, right? We'll finish a section and then it's like we've jumped forward 3 hours in time, and then it's like, oh, we play another section and then we jump forward another 3 hours in time, and by the time more than half of the existing time it goes by, I'm like, all right, great, we need to do this next section quickly. And then Akane pulls on my fucking sleeve again, and I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? So like that like brought down my enjoyment or like my serious taking of 999 just a little bit, because the characters don't really give too much respect for their like time, right? And given the ending of the game, right, it's explained that yeah, Akane really knows that you didn't have 9 hours, right? Junpei being a special psychic boy jumping back in time, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, right? So like yeah, I get that Akane would not do it, but why the fuck would Alice, or not Alice, why would Lotus go, hey, you want to talk about like mental projection theories, right? And I'm like, no, Alice, I would much rather solve this murder puzzle. Thank you though. So that was definitely a thing that like lowered it for me. I feel like a lot of the puzzles in 999 especially were like meant to go a specific way. Like there's a specific order of events in like every single puzzle, where it wasn't like super free form, right? Where it was like you have to get this thing and you have to do it on this thing, and then once you get this thing, then you can use it on this thing. And it seems like there's a very forward progression path, not just like, oh, I can get all of these things that are needed for the puzzle in this room and then put them together. It was like, and the one that comes to mind is the puzzle inside the kitchen, specifically the one inside the freezer, right? In the freezer, you have to get a bottle of dry ice, or you have to get some dry ice. You got to get the bottle. You got to put the dry ice in the, or you got to put the dry ice in the bottle, or you have to break up the dry ice, right? And you have to break it up. And then I'm like, all right, I'll break it up with this frozen thing. And it's like, no, you can't use that frozen thing. You got to use this frozen thing. But I haven't gotten this frozen thing. Well, find it. You know what I mean? And it's like, wouldn't I have been able to break up the dry ice with like any of the items in my inventory? It's like, no. Right? And so it seems like there's a lot of like fluidity in the puzzles that don't get really addressed until VLR. But 999 isn't a bad game, right? There's only the downside of me thinking that the game doesn't take itself too seriously, especially when when you get to the end of the story and it's like, all right, who's responsible for all these events? Akane in the past. What? You know what I mean? Like, I think 999 is super interesting, super cool, but once you get to the end, it's kind of just like, right? So, like, I think out of the whole series, like, 999 being the neutral is very good. Now, VLR, I think, is my favorite game in that series, like bar none. I think VLR is super good. There is a little bit of a issue that I'll talk about in just a little bit, but I think VLR is very good. It hides its mystery very well, more so than 999, where 999 is just like, oh, it's ambiguous for reasons. VLR is like, oh, it's ambiguous, but it's like the evidence is in front of you no matter what, right? Like the entire time, like every time you start like a path up and you see that cutscene of Sigma in his car getting assaulted by the Zero in the mask, it's like, oh shit, we're that guy, that's us, right? And then everything going through the game, it's like, hey man, you're not strong. Every time you try to leave by yourself, you get fucking assaulted by a group of people and they're able to overpower you and take you down, even the children, right? So like the reveal towards the end where it's like, oh, Sigma isn't the guy in that cutscene, he's actually an old ass man. This takes place so much longer after that that car abduction, and you're like, well, that fucking makes sense. Every time we're like, hey Fi, you're pretty cute, she's like, shut the fuck up, you gross ass bitch. Like, it's just like, oh well, yeah, we're an old ass man, right, with missing arms, you know? So like, I think the mysteries that existed around like specific things in VLR make more sense, right? When you start the game off, right, and Fi jumps out of the elevator and you're like, holy fuck, she's a super soldier, right? And then it's just like, no, we're on the moon. We're on the moon. Okay, I guess, right? Like whatever, you know? So that, like, all the things that are kind of like hidden and it's supposed to be like, oh, this is a big plot twist. If you pay enough attention, you can figure them out, right? Whereas in 999, like, I feel like the plot twist of Akane being Zero doesn't make too much sense, right? Like, I understand why she's doing what she's doing, but overall it's like, then why did you grab your brother? You know? Why is Santa here? Like, I know like certain people you're getting revenge on, right? Ace being captured, right? Makes sense. Was his name Ace or Lion? I can't remember. I think it was Ace, right? Why do I remember Lion? Am I crazy? His initial name was Lion. That's why. That's what it was. Okay. I thought I was going crazy. But yeah, so like, she's getting revenge on Ace, right? She's bringing Mountain in because he knew about the initial investigation. He knew about the initial death game, right? He investigated that. Clover's, or not Clover, Lotus's kids were taking place in the original death game, right? So like, that kind of makes sense, but it's like, why the fuck did you bring Santa here? You know he's not an Esper, right? Like, you had to have known that your brother is not an Esper. Junpei makes sense, right? Because if you knew Junpei was an Esper, it makes sense for you to bring him, right? I like to imagine that her brother is there to sort of cover for her. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I mean, like, she could have done that with Junpei, right? Like it's weird. You can't nail down a specific reason why she brought certain people. It's kind of weird. So like the certain things, it's like, man, Akane is doing whatever, but yeah, like it feels like all of the plot twists and reveals come instantaneously, and their reasons are a little bit more ambiguous in 999. But in VLR, they're set up more properly. They're built up to, and it makes more sense to me, at least. In addition to that, I think the puzzles were way more fun in VLR than they were in 999. I think the story only gets weird to me when the game goes, "Hey man, you know that old ass lady that you've been seeing walking around? Do you remember the previous game? Guess what, motherfucker? This is a sequel for a reason." And then they're like, "Oh, oh yeah, we're gonna put the game on a cliffhanger. There's gonna be a third game, I guess, right?" Okay. Because how 999 ends, 999 ends, and it's like you can put a good stop here. This is the end of the game, right? But you end VLR and it's kind of like, hey man, what happens after this? Or what happened to get to this point, right? Well, you're gonna have to go back in time to stop it. What? So VLR is just building up to Zero Time Dilemma. And Zero Time Dilemma is fucking bad. Holy shit, Zero Time Dilemma is bad. The story is dog shit. The puzzles are barely above mediocre, right? And the plot twist is so dumb, you can smell it coming a mile away. Because I remember when I was playing through it, my brain was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in with the same mentality that I did for VLR. I'm just gonna play through, let the mystery unfold itself in front of me. And then one night I was like sitting. I remember I was sitting in bed, and I was like, you know what? Let me go check the VOD back because I had a question. And this was after what the fuck was his name? This was after Carlos goes. No, not Carlos. Was it Carlos or was it not Eddie? Eric, that was his name. After Eric like leans down and he's like, "Hey old man, are you okay?" And I'm like, "What?" So I had some confusion and I went back to watch the VOD to check it out. And as I was watching it, I started noticing things. I was like, "Well, this isn't a nonary game. This is a decision game. We don't have anything that's relating to the number 9. Um and we have these weird funky things called X passes, right?" And I was like, X10, Nona is the prefix for 9, and Dessa is the premix or as the prefix for 10. And I was like, "Oh, you're fucking kidding me," right? Because that means that Delta isn't the kid, right? Delta is the name of the camera. And I was like, "Oh, they're trying to do the player camera is another person type beat." And I'm like, "Yeah, that isn't gonna work. That you can't pull the same stunt twice, right? You can't pull the there's this weird shit going on with the point of view behind the camera, right?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I gotcha." So then I was like, "Well, if Delta isn't the kid, right? The kid is a specific separate entity, right? Then Delta's an old ass man. Well, if he's an old ass man, then how is he an old ass man if Phi is not old?" Wait a minute. Hold on. Also, do you mean to tell me the entirety of VLR is made and exists because fucking some bitch was just so horny she wanted Sigma to take her shit down right in the middle of that hallway, right in front of the dog? And he listened and didn't pull out. Come on, Sigma. Come on, bro. What happened? Also, the plot twist of, oh, hey, you know, there's going to be a time travel machine and you can use the time travel machine. All right, where does the time travel machine come from? We found it. What? You sure you didn't build this in similar to this machine? No, we found it. It was like left behind by aliens or some shit. Oh, okay. All right. Well, now that you have this orgy of evidence here, Delta, we've got you, right? We've got you under control. Like we have all of the evidence. We have everything wrapped up here. There is no way that you're gonna be able to get away with this. There's even a fucking time machine in the basement built by aliens to help you assist your plot of keeping us and making sure the events of VLR come true. So yeah, we're gonna prevent that from happening, and we're gonna arrest you. Oh no, you can't arrest me. I got rid of all the evidence. I'm sorry, Delta. What? You did what? How did you? How? Okay. But yeah, man. The the overall events of the Zero Escape game playthroughs are as follows. And this is why they're not archived on the channel, because 999 we couldn't finish because of a bug. VLR was good, but I just didn't save it for whatever specific reasons. And Zero Time Dilemma was so bad I would rather not remember it. So I hope that answers your question, Sponsy. If they end up making like a ZTD Redux where it's like, hey, we're gonna remake that game, then I'll play it again, right? But there is a very little hope held out for me that I will be going back to check that out. You know what I mean? To archive everything. Because oh my boy, VLR was really good. I really enjoyed VLR. I'm gonna put that out there, right? VLR was super good, right? At least I feel. I feel VLR is like the best of anything in that series has to offer. And then ZTD just came in and it's like, well, we didn't have a budget, but we wanted to make a sequel. Why? So that was unfortunate. I really wish that that series ended on a good note, but what do you think of having to choose your own order of scenes in ZTD? I thought that was nonsense, if I'm gonna be honest. That, like, the flowchart shit being so, like, being so required of me having to do this specific thing and that specific thing, and then, you know, you gotta get to this point and then switch over to this team and then get to this point with this team. I was like, bro, can you just have like a linear? If you're gonna make me do this flowchart shit, like, bring me back. Like, right? Like, I can't. If I've reached the end of a path, bring me to the next part of a different path, right? Don't make me try to fucking look at this flowchart and go, all right, well, how do I get to this thing? Right? I don't know. It wasn't great. So Danganronpa is a series about Esper and death games. No, that's Zero Time Dilemma. Danganronpa is a much more silly series about a high school teenager who takes over the world because of one guy being gay. I don't make the rules. That's literally how the series starts. But anyways, I think that's gonna do it for me for today. I'd like to thank you all very much for coming out. I had a great time continuing Ace Attorney. Did you ever consider playing Somnium Files? Ah, the playthrough lost the time. Can we get some Pet the Ibas in the chat? We did play it. I really enjoy that game. We're gonna be playing the sequel when it comes out. I really super duper enjoyed the Somnium Files, and I'm super looking forward to the sequel. I can't wait to play as fucking. I can bench your entire family Mizuki, beating the shit out of people with pipes. But anyway,
Welcome to the family, son.
Storm with a gift over to Sponsy as well. Well, now you have the now you have the Ivory emotes to use as yourself. But that's gonna be it for me today. Tomorrow we are going to be hopefully doing Mikey's D&D campaign, and that is gonna be a lot of fun, but I don't know if we'll be streaming at the regular time or at all tomorrow. So I will say, with that in mind, I might be seeing you guys on Monday with more Genshin. But until then, I'd like to give a shout out over to Tiara for the raid earlier, and of course just now Storm with the gift over to Sponsy. And Sponsy, if you would like to talk more about the games that we have played, if you want to talk more about the Zero Escape games, if you want to talk more about that, if you do join the Discord, Kyperian actually put the information for that. It will automatically add you if you are subbed and you have your Discord and Twitch connected. So if you want to talk more about any specific games, we do happen to have a somewhat regularly active Discord where we talk about a lot of bullshit in there. But that's for you to figure out if you want to join or not. For me, I will take off for tonight. I'll catch you guys either tomorrow night or Monday with more Genshin. But until then, you guys take it easy. Thanks once again for coming out, and I'll catch you next time. But until then, peace.